That's the Congress model of protest. There, viewers, I'm sure there is a lot on your mind after seeing this shirtless and shameless act. But I beg your indulgence. Let us pause and reflect on true greatness in the world of art, works that inspire, uplift, and remind us of humanity's highest potential. Viewers, let's talk of art and artists. It's on your screen. Mona Lisa by Da Vinci, subtle, enigmatic smile that has captivated the world for centuries. Then we have Van Gogh's Starry Night. A night sky. Let's go to the next one. A night sky alive with the swirling stars and a crescent moon. Then we have the David by Michelangelo, a colossal marble figure known for exceptional detail and lifelike depiction. Just look at this, the detail on the statue. Then we have Picasso's self-portrait that they say uses breaking faces and forms into angles that challenge us to see reality in a completely new way. Don't be surprised. Viewers, these are works of art that elevate the human spirit, that celebrate creativity, discipline, vision, if you will. And now contrast this with what we witnessed today at Bharat Mandapam during the Global AI Summit. A shirtless, shameless, rowdy protest by Congress workers that turned a moment of national pride, viewers, a moment of national pride into a scene of utter disgrace. Congress workers stripped off their shirts inside the venue. They were shouting slogans, disrupting an international event where global leaders had gathered to discuss India's rise. This is the Congress model of anarchy in full ugly flow. It's out there for the world to see. Here is the Congress ridiculing the country once again on a world stage. Viewers, the AI Summit is not a BJP rally or a BJP event. This is an event organized by the government of India. It is not a party event. India was hosting this summit, not a political party, and Congress chose to sully it with topless hooliganism. Viewers, they could have gone outside the BJP headquarters. What stopped them? They could have gathered outside the Prime Minister's residence or his office. They could have taken their protest to Jantar Mantar, Ram Leela Maidan, any other place. But they deliberately chose an international event to create maximum embarrassment, not for the BJP, but for the country. Viewers, this was a calculated insult to India's image. And let us be very clear about one thing. The genius, let's go back to that art and artist. Who's the genius here? The genius, the artist behind this masterpiece of mayhem. It is Rahul Gandhi himself, the man whose words and actions have repeatedly inspired this kind of reckless anarchy in the Congress ranks. Viewers, remember when he spoke of youth beating the Prime Minister with sticks, Danda Maro, he had said, that has now morphed into short Utaro. Do you remember his call to fight the Indian state? Is this the Rahul model Congress wants to sell to voters? Pure chaos, disruption, disrespect for every institution? Viewers, the Congress shirtless hooliganism video is anarchy painted in the ugliest colors, which is why I began with all the great artwork and artists. And I want you to focus on that graphics once again. Can we have that on screen? All that Congress cares about is creating spectacles that keep them relevant in their desperation. That's all. Which is why we are calling this famous and the infamous. I leave it to your judgment. Sample the reactions.
This clearly reflects the anti-India spirit of the Congress. It clearly shows that the Congress is against India's progress, is against the growing stature of India across the globe.
अगर कांग्रेस अपने केवल उसी माइंडसेट में रहेगी जब कि उन्हें हर चीज में विघ्न डालना है, तो भगवान बचाए उन्हें।
ये राहुल गांधी, सोनिया गांधी और प्रियंका वाड्रा की मौजूदगी में राहुल जी के निवास स्थान पे ये प्लानिंग किया गया था। दिस इज अ डिलिबरेट अटेम्प्ट टू मलाइन द नेम ऑफ इंडिया।
ये कोई बीजेपी का विरोध नहीं है, ये पीएम का विरोध नहीं है, ये भारत की उपलब्धि का विरोध है।
Let's open this up. Tuhin Sinha, the national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, Tehseen Poonawala, IP Singh ji, national spokesperson Samajwadi Party, Dr. Piyush Joshi, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party, Professor Manojit Mondal, Ravi Srivastav ji, Karan Verma completes this panel. Abhijit, you know, before I ask Tehseen to make sense of or help us make sense of what this was, what do you think the Congress party was trying to do?
You know, Pranesh, I have always said Mr. Rahul Gandhi is the biggest supporter of Shri Narendra Modi ji. In fact, I think Narendra Modi ji has a contract with Shri Rahul Gandhi ji that, you know, anytime the government screws up, Mr. Rahul Gandhi can do something and make the party popular again. I think Mr. Rahul Gandhi has now taken a subsidiary contract with Galgotia's University so that they can take away the focus from Galgotias and focus now on Mr. Rahul Gandhi ji. And apparently the Galgotias are paying lots of money. So it is very clear to me that no matter what happens, no matter how badly the BJP screws up anything, Mr. Rahul Gandhi will be a knight in shining armor who is there to save them from every single thing. He is the patron saint of the BJP. As long as Rahul is around, the BJP can never lose an election. And this is what you see. Did Nehru start ISRO? Did Nehru start IIT? Did Nehru start AIMS? So that Congress workers would come out and do this kind of nanga nach in a public venue where you're hosting foreign heads of state. How is this any different from what those Khalistani terrorists did at Republic Day in 2021? You remember what they did? They dragged down the national flag from the Red Fort pole, beat up police officers and hoisted their flag onto the flagpole out there. How is this any different? This is a national event. This isn't a BJP party political convention. There were no lotuses or BJP flags lying around. There was the Indian flag lying around. Had you gone and done this at the BJP national convention, I would have applauded you for the innovation. बहुत अच्छा किया. You have brought shame upon the country doing this. Sure, the BJP screwed up lots of things with this conference. But understand, this is the kind of protest that ends up bringing shame on India.
Tehseen, the Congress party is brazen about this. They're defending this. They're saying, well done to our workers who went there and did this.
Pranesh, thank you so much for having me at the show. You know I'm a Congress voter. I support the Congress. I've never even voted for anyone except for the Congress, not even an alliance partner of the Congress. So as a voter of the Congress who genuinely wants the Congress to come to government, I think this is silly. I think this is stupid. I think it's ridiculous. I don't even think these guys were, I think it was crass. It's not the spot to do it. This was not BJP summit. This was the nation summit. This was the nation's AI summit. So if you wanted to protest a trade deal, you could have done it outside the US Embassy, Prime Minister's house, Piyush Goyal's house. And Piyush Goyal spoke to Times Now. He won't tell us what's happening on oil, but he'll speak here. But we'll come to that later. So I don't even know why this was the venue to protest the trade deal. It actually makes no sense. But then these adjectives that is Congress anti-national, I want to also pause there. When 2611 was on, the Chief Minister of Gujarat then was protesting outside where NSG was operating. He went to my friend Martia Hemant Karkare's house. Nobody called him anti-national. Abhijit voted for the Congress in 2009. 2008, the BJP...
Between this shirtless protest and the BJP calling the Congress anti-national, you are outraged by the attack that the Congress has got, not by the act.
Outraged by the act. But I just need to make my points. The BJP almost scuttled the nuclear deal by getting cash in parliament. I think nothing can be more vulgar than that. Even these unfit bodies are more
that's
proportionate
precisely
than that.
what Abhijit was saying, that Rahul Gandhi time and again proves that he is the biggest, campaigner, mascot for the BJP. That is what Abhijit Iyer Mitra began by saying. And you know, when Abhijit was speaking, Dr. Joshi was clapping, because every time he's on the show, he begins his argument by saying that, look, BJP and Congress are two sides of the same coin. He stands vindicated. वो तो बोलेंगे, मैं तो हमेशा कहता हूं.
I'll have to answer Dr. Joshi. His leaders had come. I was sitting in the meeting where they were begging of Congress to get Arvind Kejriwal ji out of jail. So I don't want to. That's not the issue. Let's focus on the issue. The issue at hand out here is very, very simple. Was this the venue? No. I can't come on Times Now, be on your show and talk about music and do a music show. I can't be on a music show and be doing this. So every place has its own garima, its own limits, its own decency. I think this is not called for. I think the Congress must reflect. Okay. There is a large audience. I'll take 10 seconds more. There's a large audience that does not want to vote the BJP. They're fed up of the BJP. But when you do things like this, those fence sitters will not
come.
So
who takes onus, Tehseen? Who takes onus? Now, you know, all the niceties aside, who takes onus for this?
No, I'm sure that these are 4 or 5 boys from the Youth Congress.
Who's the Jannayak in the Congress party? Who's the tallest leader who the rank and file follows?
Listen, Rahul Gandhi was not present here, unlike the Chief Minister of Gujarat at that 2611, right? And I don't think he's even, I think this is done by the Youth Congress.
The Congress is defending this, Tehseen. Let's play out what Pawan Kheda has said. Karan, I'll bring you in. Listen to what Pawan Kheda has said. Do we have Pawan Kheda?
किसी की बेसमेंट में जाकर प्रोटेस्ट करें. प्रोटेस्ट वहीं होता है जहां लोगों को दिखता है. प्रोटेस्ट वहीं होता है जहां मीडिया के कैमरा होते हैं. प्रोटेस्ट और कहां होगा? संसद में हम बोले तो लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन राहुल गांधी देश के लिए सबसे बड़ा खतरा है. 25 सांसदों को आप बाहर कर देते हैं. हम सड़क पर आए तो हम राष्ट्र विरोधी हैं.
Now Pawan Kheda is not Indian Youth Congress. Pawan Kheda is INC, Indian National Congress. Tehseen?
I'll just say this, that the Congress leaders who have a mass base, who understand ground level politics, know that this is not the venue.
If anybody had some mass base or understood ground level politics, they would not resort to this. Karan?
So just for the record, Pawan Khera is the chairman, as official as it gets, chairman of the media department of the AICC. As official as it gets. You know, Pranesh, when this news came out, I was 100% sure that my friend Tehseen would not own this up. He would say that, you know, this is the work of a handful of Congress people. And I was sure the Congress won't own it up. But lo behold, 4 hours later, the Indian Youth Congress put out a tweet owning this up as a badge of honor. And then, just half an hour back, or maybe an hour back, Pawan Khera said, क्या basement में करेंगे हम लोग protest? हम वहीं करेंगे जहां पूरी दुनिया देखेगी. Not realizing this is unconstitutional. The Supreme Court, when it declared the Shaheen Bagh protest unconstitutional on 7th October 2020, said you cannot hold a public place. And this is not even a public place. This is an international forum pretty much, an Indian forum where international delegates are there, and you bringing the country to shame, as Abhijit said. I want to ask Tehseen one thing. You know, I've never thrown around this word that Congress is anti-national. But if some party, in its official capacity, because it's the chairman of the media department who's saying, wahi to karenge aur kahan karenge, if he does this and this brings shame to our country, this is against the spirit of our country, is this not quid pro quo? Is this not anti-national? Is Congress not anti-national? I think it should not be taken as an offense. Congress today is anti-national as per their own stance. I want to ask him.
Karan, let me just put this in as simple a way as I could. There may have been many things that were wrong with the summit. First of all, this protest wasn't on the summit. But what we did yesterday, I think, was praiseworthy. What the Prime Minister did, getting people from France, Estonia, Brazil, etc., getting thought leaders. I think this was India summit. This was not the venue to do it. I'm very clear. And you know what will stay back after all of this?
I am glad that you're saying that this was not the venue to do it, not the way to do it. Then who are the people who are planning this? Who's advising Congress? And it's not as if, you know...
Who's the main person? One small fact. Narasimha Yadav. He was one of the main people in the Bharat Jodo Yatra alongside Rahul Gandhi. Then their youth president, who says, Rahul Gandhi is my idol and Jan Nayak, Uday Bhanu Chib. He said, of course, hame bilkul theek laga. He's doubled down in a bite right now to the Press Trust of India. That yes, we are inspired by Rahul Gandhi, he is our Jan Nayak, and we did this, we are proud of it. You'll understand it later. That's the language he's used.
There are many on the panel who will say they are proud of what the Congress workers have done. सुनना है आपको? अभी सुनिए. रवि श्रीवास्तव जी.
Pranesh, good evening. First of all, I'm not proud of that what has happened, but I'm not finding anything wrong with it as such. I mean, what is the meaning of inspired? Is that all Bharatiya Janata Yuva Morcha, Bajrang Dal and ABVP, what all hooliganism they do or what all protests they do, are they all inspired by Mr. Modi? Why you are linking it to Rahul
What does
Gandhi?
the Congress, what does the Congress say? What does the Congress say? If this was done, by the BJYM or the ABVP for that matter, तो आप क्या बोलते? That this is the Modi model, right, Ravi Srivastav?
And they've owned it. The media department officially has owned it.
The law will take its course.
The law will take its own course. I am not on law. Look at the optics of this. Abhijit Iyer Mitra ne kya kaha? Rahul Gandhi is the biggest campaigner, mascot for the BJP. Here you have the BJP on the mat. The Congress would like to believe that, the AI summit was mismanaged, etc., etc. And look what people are talking about. Tuhin Sinha, you must really thank the stars and then Rahul Gandhi.
Well, Pranesh, today Congress has behaved like a typical AI party. A party of anarchist imbeciles. And I think it's about time they changed the name from Indian National Congress to Indian Naxal Congress. Now, I don't understand what is more, disparaging. The sleazy, the perverse protest or the chairman of the Congress Media Communications Department doubling down on it and justifying it. And mind you, today morning we saw video of Shashi Tharoor saying, okay, there were minor glitches, but overall it's been a brilliant AI fest, which clearly means that it's a handful of, protesters close to the Rahul Gandhi camp, which is behind it. Now, I would also request you to play the very heartening, the brilliant videos of, well-meaning Indians and aspiring participants beating up these goons. That is the kind of anger, that is the kind of, that is how livid people are against these anarchist behavior, gimmicks of the Congress party, but they will not understand. Finally, why is the Congress party hell-bent on sullying India's success? And who stands to gain? Today, India is at number 3 in the AI vibrancy code. US and China are ahead of us, and the 4th entity is way behind us. So obviously, there is a clear indication that Congress party is doing it for the benefit of China, so that we don't come anywhere close to it, and so that our AI's sojourn, our AI ascent is somewhere stalled.
I'll tell you what the irony is. And Abhijit, the Congress Manifesto of 2024, we have a copy of it. In at least 2 places, on 2 pages, talks about artificial intelligence. How artificial intelligence is important, that is one. We will encourage and support the use of artificial intelligence, robotics, etc., which will create new and frontline jobs. What was happening here? Precisely that. What did the Congress do? Shirtless protest. What is the Congress doing after the protest? Defending it. What is going on? And Tehseen and Ravi Srivastav, Tehseen at least has taken a position. But Ravi Srivastav, you will defend this?
Do I go first?
Yes.
So, their understanding of AI, Pranesh, is exactly like Rahul Gandhi's understanding of an electric vehicle. Do you remember that drawn-out analogy he gave in Colombia or Venezuela or wherever he was? Which was what? A 2-wheeler will not kill you, but a 4-wheeler will kill you. Do you remember that? That the car is built to prevent the engine from hurting you. 2-wheeler accidents always result in deaths. Car accidents, depending on the star rating, protect you. His knowledge of AI is exactly like his knowledge. And understand, we are facing an AI shortage today precisely because of Congress policy focusing on secondary education and not on primary education. We don't even have the expertise, we don't build the skill sets in our kids so that they get the proper secondary education to become AI competent engineers. They don't even understand the building blocks of AI. They don't understand what AI is.
Then if they don't understand, they should just keep quiet. If they don't understand, this is no way to behave. This is rogue behavior. You know, even a Congress supporter like Tehseen Poonawala, someone close to the family, he's shocked. He's saying this is not the way to do it. Dr. Joshi, finally your prophecy has come true. आप तो कहते रहते हैं हमेशा.
Well, the prophecy has always been true, and the sad part is that it was the government was doing a great job of embarrassing itself, through this summit. So the Congress comes into the competition and says that कि भाई हम कैसे पीछे छूट जाएंगे, we will embarrass ourselves even more. What I would have liked Mr. Rahul Gandhi to do, Mr. Rahul Gandhi should have raised these questions that we are a service-heavy tech industry, we are a coding-heavy tech industry. How artificial intelligence is going to affect the job losses, and has there been any study which has been done by the government before organizing a summit as such? But sadly, that doesn't happen. So the Congress is doing a perfect job of deflecting the issue. They did it, when we were talking about those Epstein files, they bring out General Narvane's unpublished book, and now they are again deflecting the issue because the government needs to be questioned upon a poor job of organizing this summit. But now the issue has been successfully deflected. Thanks to whom? Thanks to the incompetent, unintelligent current ideology of the Indian National Congress.
Right. Now, Dr. Joshi, do you believe that this, acts like these are part of the anarchy model?
Well, I cannot comment upon that, but these acts are shameful, actually shameful and disgraceful.
Shameful. The BJP has called this anarchy. Abhijit believes this is anarchy. Taran has said so. I'll tell you, there's one individual who says, Taran is smiling. Okay, Taran, you say it.
No, there's one individual, I'm sure Piyush ji reveres him. He said, I am an anarchist and I'm proud to be one. And on 20th January, when he sat in protest, 2014, he was the chief minister at that time. He said, किस बात का Republic Day? जब सुन नहीं रहे हमें Republic Day के लिए भी, I will sit on protest even till Republic Day. That is the man we are talking about. Piyush ji, he happens to be Arvind Kejriwal, your supremo. So when Piyush ji says that Congress bettered the BJP, actually the Congress has bettered AAP at their own game today. That when Arvind Kejriwal says I am an anarchist, Congress today has proved that I am an anarchist on steroids. That's why Piyush ji has a grudge.
Who takes credit, Dr. Joshi, the BJP or the Aam Aadmi Party? आप अपने सुप्रीमो का क्रेडिट बीजेपी को क्यों दे रहे हैं?
आपसे सीखा है, आप गुरु हैं.
देखिए, करण, धन्यवाद आपको केजरीवाल जी का नाम लेने के लिए. Just let me tell you what Mr. Kejriwal did. Mr. Kejriwal did not went to the Republic Day's parade and organized a protest there. He protested at the place which was designated for protest, or maybe on a road in particular, but he did not go to the parade because that was where the national festival was being organized. Now forget about it for one moment.
No, I can't forget about it, sir. I can't forget about it. How can I forget about it? All the more, on a day you're saying that the Congress is following the BJP model. 1 minute. Tuin, I'll ask you about the BJP model. 1 minute. Professor Mondal, IP Singh, they have not spoken. Professor Mondal, what do you make of this? What model is this?
I do not think that they should have chosen this venue. We have got problem with the government of India and the way this particular AI summit was conducted, especially the scam that came out of Galgotia University, which was recognized and given high rank by the government of India. We know that the government of India, including the Prime Minister, pandered to Galgotia University. Nevertheless, I do believe that there are world leaders who have come to this summit.
No, Professor Mondal, 1 minute. You can say things about Galgotias, but to say that because it was recognized by the government, so go after the government. All political parties are recognized by the Election Commission of India. So if some party does anything wrong, you will catch the Election Commission or the party.
And of course, I mean, look, you have had proper investigative journalism you'll find that I am in the academia. I know how this Galgotia University functions. It was being sponsored by the government of India, none other than the Prime Minister himself. It's a university of scams, which has definitely lowered down the image of the country in front of the international fraternity. Nonetheless, I do believe that Congress party did not choose the right venue, right mode of
Sir,
protest.
can I ask you, because we are on this venue question, did the Bengal Chief Minister, when she protested, when she went into that house where the ED was conducting raids, was that venue appropriate for protest?
That was not the government of India venue. That was the office, extended party office of Trinamool Congress. We are
No, I'm not saying it was the government of India office. I'm asking you, was that an appropriate place to protest, whether investigative agencies carrying out a raid?
Absolutely. Yeah. What is the fate of that investigation and the case in Supreme Court? When the investigative agency is misusing its legal mandate, we have got every right to protest. You are mandated to use your law, not to misuse. ED has been misusing the law.
The Congress is saying the same thing, sir. They don't let us speak in Parliament. Where do you expect us to protest? In the basement? We will protest at the international venues like these. IP Singh ji, क्या सोचते हैं सर आप इसके बारे में?
देखिए 2-4 मिनट हमें भी बोलने दीजिएगा, ये ना हो कि डिस्कनेक्ट कर दीजिएगा। जब तक ना हो सही इंतजाम, देखा देखी न करो कोई काम। आप ये बताइए, गलगोटिया को लेकर तो देश और दुनिया भर में क्या इमेज भारत की गई है? ऋषि सुनक ब्रिटेन के पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री हैं और दिल्ली के ट्रैफिक जाम को लेकर उन्होंने क्या कहा कि एआई आने के बाद भी दिल्ली नहीं सुधर सकता, ट्रैफिक जाम नहीं खत्म हो सकता। बद इंतजामी के बारे में पूरा देश दुनिया में क्या इमेज जा रही है, उस पर कोई चर्चा नहीं हो रही है। वहां चोरी हो रही है, वहां इंटरनेट काम नहीं कर रहा है। 12 वर्ष हो गया, आप एक सिटी नहीं बसा पाए जहां इंटरनेशनल लेवल की एक इवेंट्स हो सके। 800 से ज्यादा AQI है। तरस आती है दिल्ली में, अगर हम 2 दिन टिक जाते हैं तो जुकाम बुखार हो जाता है। और हम बड़ी बड़ी बातें करते हैं। NSY ने कतई अच्छा नहीं किया, मैं इसको कंडेम करता हूं। ये नहीं करना चाहिए था, क्योंकि भारतीय जनता पार्टी अपने वजह से खुद बोझ से दब गई है। और श्री राजनाथ सिंह गलगोटिया पर सवाल नहीं पूछते, धर्मेंद्र प्रधान सवाल नहीं पूछते, लेकिन जो छोटे नेता हैं वो कहते हैं कि साहब लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन जो है गद्दार हैं, देशद्रोही हैं। क्या आप बताइए?
एक मिनट IP सिंह जी, देखिए आपने कहा डिस्कनेक्ट मत करना, आप डिस्कनेक्टेड हैं। लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन ने गद्दार शब्द का इस्तेमाल किया था, भूल गया? रवनीत बिट्टू को राहुल गांधी जी ने क्या कहा था? ट्रेटर बोल दिया था। सर ट्रेटर मतलब क्या होता है? गद्दार। आप कह रहे हैं, ऋषि सुनाक कह रहे हैं यस ट्रैफिक इज अ प्रॉब्लम, बट ऋषि सुनाक शुड वरी अबाउट लंदन दैट हैज बिकम पाकिस्तान। हमको उनसे तो सुनना नहीं है ना यार ट्रैफिक। ये मैं आपको इस प्रोटेस्ट के बारे में पूछ रहा हूं, आप बोल रहे हैं ऋषि सुनाक और भी बहुत कुछ बोलते हैं।
नहीं, मैंने कहा ना, मैंने कहा कि NSY ने अच्छा नहीं किया। मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि ये बात कांग्रेस लीडरशिप को नहीं पता रही होगी।
नहीं पता है, वो आके डिफेंड कर रहे हैं। सर कैसे नहीं पता है? वो आके डिफेंड कर रहे हैं। पवन खेड़ा तो कांग्रेस के लीडरशिप है ना। कांग्रेस के लीडरशिप कौन है पहले तो ये बताइए। आप तहसीन बताएंगे। तहसीन, इज दिस द राहुल कांग्रेस, द प्रियंका कांग्रेस और सम अदर कांग्रेस? Who takes onus?
No, there is only one Congress, and I don't think IP Singh ji is correct. I don't think the absolute topmost leadership was knew that this was going to happen. They now obviously known because it's a media issue, but they didn't know. It's just a bunch of kids who've gone in there.
Tehseen at least is honest. वो बोल रहे हैं the leadership was aware. The workers who did this had the blessings. Abhijit?
Of course they had the blessings. Are you seeing all the Congress? The Indian Youth Congress has tweeted it, praising them. Pawan Khera has put out a statement praising it. Not the Congress itself has retweeted the Indian Youth Congress. Who are we kidding? You think if Rahul Gandhi had... but understand, this is a pattern. Rahul Gandhi loves these kind of vicious attacks. These people are doing exactly what Rahul Gandhi thinks of doing. These people are carrying out. Let us be very, very clear about this. He has always supported every single disruption, major league disruption that has caused public nuisance in India for the last 10 to 12 years. He supported the farmers' protests. He supported the the Delhi riots, which then morphed for tactical reasons into the so-called Okhla sit-ins and things like that. Tell me one violent episode, intrusive episode that he has not supported. This is a classic case of it. They are doing, he went abroad and called for foreign military intervention, regime change intervention here, remember? So how is this any different? They are doing exactly what their leader has asked them to.
So you're saying this is the fight the Indian state template that the workers are following. Tehseen, you know, you are saying that the leadership was aware. I mean, then that means only one thing, that the Congress does not care.
Now, but look, I have just one question for Abhijit. Abhijit, as an expert, please tell me this, or Karan could throw light on this. These bunch of kids came in, they did this. But what was security? Look, this is a highly secure area. This is a VVIP area.
One minute. I will answer that. It does not take an expert. Tehseen, I'll tell you. I've got the drift of your argument. It's all over your face. I've got your question. 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay, make your point.
Seconds. I won't take more than 10. At the end of the day, I disassociate. I think this is, for lack of another word, I think this is chichorapan. But let me ask you something. This is a highly secure area, a VVIP area. Why is this? How did this happen? Abhijit, don't you think somebody should be
I'll tell you. I'll get, no, 1 minute. Here the layman view first, then go to Abhijit Iyer Mitra and, and Karan Verma. 1 minute. This is not security breach by any stretch of imagination. They were not carrying anything that was prohibited. This behavior is prohibited. This behavior. Now, that you can't police. Now, if, people on the show have come and behaved in a way that, memes have been made. Now, I can't foresee who's going to behave how. I don't know. So, these people had QR codes. The police have gone on record. So, this is no security breach they're seeing. And in any case, the Congress is not saying this is security breach. They are saying we did it. So, why even inject that angle? But Abhijit, you try and convince Tehseen.
Look, here is the thing. What does security look for? They will look for isotopes. They will look for chemical compounds. They will look for aerosols. They will look for even car keys. Even car keys were not allowed and it caused a lot of problems out there. They will look for metallic objects. They will look for lighters and things like that. Tell me, where is security? Tell me in which part of the world? I have been to Israel about 14-15 times. Even their security does not know when I am going to take off my shirt and protest at Ben Gurion Airport. I have not heard of mind scanners at any security on earth. Not a New York security, not in Guantanamo Bay, definitely not in Israel. So I don't know how security was meant to detect this. That said, Tehseen does raise a valid question. How did these people get away with this for so long? And if you look at the people trying to come and kick them out, it wasn't the security. It was actually the event participants and the one brave officer, I don't know which cadre or whatever, in a suit, who was yelling at them and having to shove these people out. That is a big problem. That is a very big problem, but that is across the board. You see, even when you see queue cutters at the airport, it is not security preventing the queue cutting, it is the average citizen who... So, fair. But how are they meant to detect it?
Exactly. Now, Karan...
So, Pranesh, whenever some thug or someone enters a place, you look at those dodgy elements with suspicion. The security, by the way, was aware that there are some Congress people who are coming in. And who are the four who are detained, by the way, when Tehseen says there were a bunch of kids. Krishna Hari is the National Secretary of IYC, Indian Youth Congress. Kundan Yadav is the Bihar State Head. Ajay Kumar. So the Congress people, the Youth Congress, the security was aware that they're coming in. They could not have fathomed that Congress can be a threat to security. They thought that this is one of the principal parties. They have the passes. The passes were arranged by the party, which is normal. I mean, it's a big party.
The people could register. The police is on record. The people registered, self-registered.
Self-registered.
Generated
and
a QR.
The security knew that they are from Congress. The security knew. Nobody can fathom. And Tehseen has put out a great thought here now. Every time a Congress person perhaps enters some place, people should look at those elements now with suspicion after this, of course.
Narco analysis before Congress voters.
I mean, that's what it is now. They should be looked at with suspicion, that means.
Okay. IP Singh ji, आप मोबाइल में कुछ दिखा रहे थे. QR कोड है, क्या है आपके पास? क्या खबर आई है मोबाइल में?
नहीं, मैं ये दिखा रहा था कि जिस प्रदर्शन को लेकर बीजेपी छाती पीट रही है कि 10 लोग आए और उन्होंने ऐसा किया, मैं दिखा रहा था कि पूरा हरियाणा गवर्नमेंट टॉपलेस होके प्रदर्शन कर रही है। सारे सीनियर मिनिस्टर्स हैं। एक बार और कहें तो मैं उसको दिखा दूं। मैं आपसे इनसे कहूंगा कि ये जरा सा इसको दिखावें कि ये प्रदर्शन कोई जगह ठीक नहीं है, वो इंटरनेशनल इवेंट है।
सर बस उसी की आपत्ति है,
आप देखेंगे तो
बस वही उचित नहीं है। आईपी सिंह जी, किसी ने ये नहीं कहा, इनफैक्ट मैंने तो शुरुआत में ही कह दिया कि प्रधानमंत्री के घर के बाहर, ऑफिस के बाहर, बीजेपी हेडक्वार्टर में केशव कुंज चले जाते, वहां प्रोटेस्ट कर लेते, आरएसएस ऑफिस के बाहर कहीं और कर लेते, जंतर मंतर, रामलीला मैदान। ये चॉइस ऑफ वेन्यू जो है वो डेलिबरेट है, बिकॉज कांग्रेस इज नाउ डिफेंडिंग इट। रवि श्रीवास्तव जी, राहुल गांधी, एक देखिए, एक पैटर्न है इस बिहेवियर में। पहले उन्होंने, और वो हमारे पास वो तस्वीरें हैं, राहुल गांधी ने एक बार विंक कर दिया था पार्लियामेंट में। वो लोगों ने कहा, इट इज हार्मलेस विंक, इट जस्ट अ विंक, he means he preaches mohabbat ki rajniti and wink is part of that. We have those visuals, it's part of a 4 window. Can we have that on screen? Rahul Gandhi then rushed across and forcibly hugged Prime Minister Modi. Look at those pictures, Ravi Srivastav ji. Yeah, then he was filming the mimicry of the Vice President, then Vice President Mr. Dhankar. When your leader behaves like this, what is the worker supposed to do?
Is Galwan. The shameful is the Operation Sindoor. The shameful is Epstein files. This is shameful. And the shameful of this having a China dog presenting as an Indian innovation. That's shameful. That's a national shame which BJP should address.
Tuhin Sinha.
Pranesh, allow me to make a couple of points. It's getting quite amusing. By putting the onus on the security arrangements, is the Congress trying to suggest that henceforth, for entry into any high-profile event, the Congress workers should be treated as potential terrorists? What is, the Congress trying to suggest when it puts the onus on security? Secondly, I've been hearing a whole lot of, opposition representatives on your show, and I feel their logic is absolutely skewed. They are collectively behaving like the Galgotia University of India's politics. Please remember that UPA 2 was a government of scams. If you remember, right from 2010 onwards, there was, there were unending scams which came to the fore. Did we at any point of time stage a protest at CWG Games to sully the reputation of the country? I think the Congress party and the opposition needs to learn. The gains from this AI summit have been enormous. Whether it is responsible AI, sovereign AI, or whether it is validation of India's DPI. What was the pressing need for this opposition to think this is the right venue to sully the reputation of the country? I think they need to answer this. And what is more shocking for me today is the way, alliance partners of Congress party are doubling down and supporting. They should have been the ones to show the mirror to the Congress party and say, Congress party, your behavior is not acceptable. Instead, they are doubling down and, acting as stooges for the Congress party.
Tehseen?
Look, at the end of the day, there was something that could have been had a little different venue. I accept that. But there are legitimate questions that had to be asked. And like my bite this morning, I was very proud of what the Prime Minister achieved yesterday with everything. But everything can't be that the opposition is wrong. We don't have a space to ask the opposition. The Prime Minister doesn't speak in the Lok Sabha. Allegedly, his life is under threat. So far, no arrests have been made. The Prime Minister hasn't spoken. The Prime Minister does not answer our questions. Piyush Goyal doesn't talk to us about a trade deal. He says, speak to Jaishankar. How is it that the opposition can put their way forward, their views point forward? I'm not supporting this, but I'm saying there's no legitimate questions that the opposition has with regards to a trade deal. You don't want to talk about it. We go to Piyush Goyal, he throws us to Jaishankar. Jaishankar says, go back to Piyush Goyal. You're playing passing the parcel with us. Prime Minister doesn't talk in Lok Sabha. He doesn't come. There's a threat on his life. What is secure? Where do we speak? Where do we ask questions? Isn't this a legitimate thing? Everyone who's asking questions of the government is anti-India. I mean, at some point, the government has to take onus. Everything that we ask goes back to Nehru and Indira ji.
Okay, now, viewers, there's some breaking input coming in. This is regarding the Trump tariffs. And Abhijit, the Supreme Court has struck down most of the, I'm talking about the US Supreme Court, the US Supreme Court has struck down most of Trump's tariffs in a major blow for Donald Trump. Now, many people believe that this was on the cards. Here it is, the US top court, in a deadly blow to Donald Trump's, whatever you want to call it, rhetoric, policy. Abhijit, how should this be read?
This was sort of expected. Remember, unlike India, where the instrument of accession to a treaty is the MEA signing it, and that's it. There is no parliamentary approval required. In America, all the multilateral treaties like GATT, which became WTO and things like that, they have to be submitted to their legislature, and the legislature has to approve it. Now, when you effectively withdraw from those treaties and negotiate bilateral treaties, you have crossed a legislative threshold, which is fundamentally illegal. I'm surprised it took so long for the US Supreme Court to decide. But remember, this is a conservative majority Supreme Court. Trump has put in at least 2, if not 3 judges in that Supreme Court. They form a 7:4 majority, if I'm not mistaken. And it has come back perfectly in line with the US Constitution, which is very clear of what the treaty, these things are. Remember, even the bilateral treaties, he did not submit them for ratification. It was really a verbal agreement, so to say, or a written agreement without the force of law. So it has come out very clearly. It is what we suspected was going to happen, but you can never be sure with the American Supreme Court.
Karan?
So, this was long due, and Abhijit is right when he says that I'm really surprised why it took so long. In fact, in the House of Representatives, 6 of Trump's own party members voted against him, against their own president, Republicans, against the tariffs. And you need to understand this, Pranesh. Trump has been going on bragging that, our treasury has collected this much in tariffs. It's the American consumer, it's the American importer who's eventually paid this. This lie cannot continue for long. And this arbitrary increasing the tariffs, lowering the tariffs, this can't go on. And this has dented America's image, to be honest, set back many of the relations by many years, if you ask my opinion. And I'm curious to know how the markets react to this tomorrow.
The markets are down. I'm reading reports on social media. At least that's the chatter. I'm not quite sure. But it is reflecting on the markets already. Tehseen is making a point. Dr. Joshi, I'm just coming to you.
Markets are down because the US has said, Trump has said in 10 days he'll strike Iran. So that's the reason why markets are down, and you can expect metals to go up. But that's not the point. The point is, I agree with what Abhijit said. This is actually in line with liberal democracies done by what conservatives do. You cannot bypass parliament, or you cannot bypass legislative assemblies, or you cannot bypass, in this case, the Senate or the House. You must go through them. You can win a vote, but it must have a parliamentary or a Senate approval. If you don't do it, you're not far away from one man becoming the person who wants to run the nation completely and bypasses parliament, or in this case, the Senate. And this is something our nation should also look from, our ruling government, which is the point I was making earlier. The Prime Minister is duty bound to speak in Parliament and pass things to Parliament.
One second. Can I make a point? Every single legislation brought in by this government is challenged in the courts. Waqf Amendment challenged, 370 challenged, CAA challenged, every single thing, and he's come out on top. So, that doesn't apply here. Here, in fact, there is too much of scrutiny. There has been legislative overreach by the judiciary, if anything, and he still stood the test of judiciary. So this analogy doesn't apply.
I just had to make that point to, bring in the domestic angle. Tehseen, I get it. I don't know. It is with the spirit of the debate. I understand that. Let me also bring in my colleague Hina Gambhir, who's now joining us for more on this. Hina, how should this be seen? Okay, we'll go to Hina in just a bit. But Abhijit, markets we will know. Okay, Dr. Joshi, yes, you were saying something. Quickly, sir.
All I'm saying, what is going to happen to this treaty that we have signed, number one? Is India going to open its agricultural sector and dairy sector for the US commodities? Number two. Number three, Is India going to start buying Russian oil now or continue to buy Venezuelan oil as has been claimed by the Trump and whole of his administration? So it's time that we stand our ground. It's time that we assert that we are the largest democracy of the world and we start acting accordingly. The Prime Minister has been very weak and meek in dealing with these issues, and the Prime Minister needs to come up and stand tall because he represents the whole country. He cannot be seen just,
the government is on record, sir. The government is on record to say that Indian interests have been protected. Now, it's an evolving situation in the United States. What can the government here do? Dr. Joshi, this is not ये कोई policy issue यहाँ का तो नहीं है ना? वहाँ एक बार फैसला हो जाए उस पे पता चलेगा. तुहिन सिन्हा.
You know, the opposition of this country has sadly started to believe that the only way to communicate is, the way Trump tweets his messages. That's not the way our government communicates. But at the same time, we have been absolutely unambiguous. We have been crystal clear on the fact that our agriculture sector, our poultry sector, our farming sector is absolutely protected, barring, the five products which we have time and again mentioned, which includes red sorghum, which includes tree nuts and a couple of other products. But I think this opposition needs to grow up. It needs to, by drawing a false equivalence with what has happened in US, I don't think, it makes any sense over here.
Okay, Karan, quickly, then we bring in Hina Gandhi.
Trump invoked the International Emergency Economic Power Act. He said it's an emergency, which is why I have to use the tariffs. His own judges, there is a partisan judge, conservative judge, liberal judge. The conservative judge has come hammering down on him. For those who say that democracy is dead in India, there you have liberal and conservative judges, and they've shot down this proposal. I think India should set the stage as far as democracy is concerned. We don't need to learn from the West.
It's a 170-page order. The Supreme Court ruling out that the Trump administration cannot impose tariffs. Hina?
Well, let's break down what exactly has happened today, Pranesh. Firstly, for our viewers, it's a very, very serious issue that we're talking about. In a nutshell, the Supreme Court in the United States of America, Pranesh, has struck down Trump tariffs. Now, these are reciprocal tariffs that U.S. President Donald Trump had imposed unilaterally because Trump wanted to make America great again. Supreme Court, what we have learned is that has struck down a huge chunk of President Donald Trump's far-reaching tariff agenda. The chief, in fact, it was a 6-3 judgment that has actually come. And the law that undergirds those import duties does not authorize the president to impose tariffs. The majority ruled 6-3. So this is very, very important. Majority ruled 6-3. Majority of the judges were of the opinion that he does not really have the powers to impose reciprocal tariffs like this the way he did. Now, a couple of questions that still remain unanswered. Does it mean that the countries that have already paid reciprocal tariffs all these months, will they be reimbursed in some way or the other? That is one very, very important aspect. Second, will it include all the countries that, were slapped with reciprocal tariffs? What happens to the penalty component of the reciprocal tariffs? Remember, for a country like India, there was 25% reciprocal
We'll have to wait for
tariff.
that. Like I said, 170 pages, people will obviously take time to read and understand what happens. But Abhijit, before we end the show, knowing the man, knowing Donald Trump, how do you think he's going to respond to this? Taran, what do you think Trump is going to do?
I think he's going to double down. He's going to say our country is going to the dogs. That's the language is already used, by the way. And he's going to further say that it's an economic emergency. He can have all these meltdowns. It's not going to work because his own party, his own base is standing up against this. This is leading to inflation. And, Mr. Modi, I would say this. He saw this coming. He delayed this trade deal. He finally had a proper deal. And now we are seeing Trump fall apart. If anything, Mr. Modi has outsmarted Donald Trump, despite him claiming to be this art of the deal master. That's how I see it.
One way of saying this is the Supreme Court of United States has imposed tariff on Donald Trump's approval rating and the power that he flaunts. The final word is yet to be spoken. Let's see how this unfolds. But thank you for joining us. The news are on the other side.